What's your life going to look like if you don't do it? What's your life going to look like if you don't fucking go out and build what the you want to build? That you have this little vision in your heart and in your mind of what your life should be like. And what are you going to feel like if you don't go do that? What are you going to feel like in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? When you die, what are you going to be saying? Because I can promise you, bro, that dream ain't going away. That dream was placed in your heart and in your mind by God. It is your purpose, and you are obligated to go build it. And for you to go build that, it's going to require executing when you don't feel like it. So you better just go out and figure this out right now. It's discipline. It's not motivation. Look around at your life. If you can't go from looking around at your life, then just expect your life to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And in 20 years, you're going to be saying, I should have went. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society. And welcome to reality, guys. Today we have Q&AF. We're going to start the week off right. All right. Now, you can submit your questions to be answered on this episode a couple different ways. The first way is,
guys, email those questions into askandy@andyfrisella.com.
Thanks, DJ.
All the children.
Yes. You can also go on YouTube on the Q&AF videos and drop your question in the comments, and we'll pick some from there as well. Now, as we go through the week, we're going to have shows within the show. We're going to have CTI tomorrow. That stands for Cruise the Internet. This is where we put topics of the day up on the screen. We talk about what's happening. We speculate on what we think is true and what we think is not true. And then we talk about how we, the people, have to solve these problems going on in the world. All right. Other times we're going to have real talk. Real talk is just 5 to 20 minutes of me giving you some real talk. And then we have occasionally 75 hard verses. 75 hard verses where someone who has completed the 75 hard program comes on the show. They talk about how they were before, how they are now, how they use 75 hard to get their shit in order. And they talk about how you can do the same. All right. Now, 75 hard, if you're unfamiliar, is the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is the world's most popular mental transformation program that you can get for free at episode 208 on the audio feed. Again, that's 208 on the audio feed. We just started YouTube about a year ago, so it's not on YouTube. All right. Now, there is a book available called The Book on Mental Toughness. It's available at andyfrisella.com. It's a great book. We're sold out. If you want to get that book, I'd advise go on there and pre-order it, and we'll ship it to you when it comes in. We typically go through the shipments immediately when they come in, so if you want that book, go over there and order it. It has the entire Live Hard program, top to bottom, in and out. It has 10 chapters on mental toughness, why you need it, how to implement it in your life, and then we have case studies from very successful people who have used mental toughness to become the recognized names that you know them for. So that's the layout. That's the lay of the land. Now, we have this thing called the fee. You're going to notice something different about our show. We don't run ads, all right? I finance this show right out of my pocket. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to listen to some corporate fuck tell me what I can and can't say. It's called Real AF, not tell me what to say AF, all right? So in exchange for that, I ask very simply that you please share the show. We are constantly dealing with censorship and shadow bans and traffic throttling because we talk about real subjects here, all right? So if the show gives you value, if it makes you better, if it makes you think, if it gives you new perspective, if you think it's worth listening to, please do us a solid and share the show. If all of you just brought us one person for every episode that you listen to, we'd be the biggest show in the world, and we'd be able to change the culture going on in society and make the world a better place, all right? So don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
Right.
All right, man. Hey,
what's up?
Dude, we're almost at 500,000 on the tube, man.
It's not bad for a year.
It's not too bad at all, man.
Yeah.
It's been a grind. It's been a grind.
Well, I mean, if they weren't censoring the fuck out of us, it would probably
Like
be way
million.
further than that.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, fucking
So,
fucks. A pool update. A lot of people have been asking about the pool.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
What's
a
going on with the pool?
lot of people. Well, so when it rains, it pours. That's the saying. Yeah, so I got it leveled, or attempted to get it leveled today. They had to take 14 inches on one side.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even close to
It
level.
wasn't close. It wasn't close at all. No, it wasn't close. 14 inches. And you know, I called the 811. You know, the dig right.
Yeah.
You know, trying to be a responsible homeowner. And they came out, marked my shit up. That's good. And we were in a good area. Right, the pool's perfect spot. So we thought. Yeah, the guy, and it's not his fault. I blame myself. But I got those. I got that in-ground sprinkler system.
Yeah?
He just destroyed one of the lines. It was right there, like right as soon as he went in.
All right.
So
we have to have an intervention. All right. Here, I'm gonna tell you something. You're not gonna like it.
Okay.
But that pool was a fucking mistake. You just need to take that pool and put it in the trash.
Yeah, it won't fit. I'm gonna have to get a dumpster to fucking.
You need to take that pool and set it on fire.
Okay.
All right, and then you need to take grass seed and put it in the spot that Dan dug up.
Yeah.
And forget all about it.
Yeah, just forget it.
Yeah, because this started out as a $300 deal, and I'm going to tell you, and anybody listening will tell you, that a pool is never a $300 deal.
Yeah, fuck, man.
All right? It's kind of like a boat. You rent boats. You don't buy boats. All right?
Rent them.
Because they are just a hole that you throw money in.
You can rent pools?
You can come to my pool.
Oh,
I got the coolest fucking pool in the world.
It is a pretty cool pool.
Yeah, I would put up my pool against anybody's pool on the fucking planet.
More than $300.
And you're welcome to come fucking swimming at any time.
All right.
Yeah, so take the pool, burn it, plant the grass back, and just forget about it.
Just forget about it, man.
It's one of those things.
See, the problem is too, man. My daughter Ryan, bro, she's like on my ass. About this pool.
Mm-hmm.
She is on my ass.
Yeah, she's a mad black woman.
Mad little black woman, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
She's a fucking 3
Don't
foot.
fuck with that.
3 foot tall fucking piece of terror is what she is.
Bro, she's fucking hilarious.
Bro, she's on my ass right now. And so it's like, I mean, it's just like, I can't just like, the pool can't just simply disappear.
Right,
She's too
here's
smart
what
for
you
that.
do.
She's too smart.
Let me tell you. I'm going to give you the white trash special.
Okay.
All right. You know that little beer tub that I got my ducks in? in my entry foyer? Okay, don't talk to me about white trash. I know all about it, bro. I'm the only that lives in a estate that has ducks in his entry foyer.
Yeah, I feel,
in a beer tub. All right, but in that beer tub, they make those beer tubs round.
Right.
All right, and when you're white trash, you fill that with water and swim in it.
That's your pool.
Bro, that's what we swam in.
Yeah, we just have fire hydrants.
We had that too.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, she ain't going to know the difference. She's going to think that's the biggest pool ever. She's going to love it. You don't have to do shit. And then afterwards, you could have a huge party and put a whole bunch of beer in there with ice and shit.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like double.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. It's kind of like the leaves. Remember I told you about the leaves?
You did tell me about the leaves, man. I did get better on the leaves.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
In the trash.
We'll
Save you lots of headache.
We'll see, man.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so that's the pool update, man. I know a lot of people have been asking, but
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
To get the metal pool.
I don't even know where the fuck you get those from.
You get them at Tractor Supply.
I've never been.
Oh man. Tractor Supply's sweet.
I never even been there. What do they have?
They got like all the farm stuff. Like anything you need for farms.
For farms.
For any like rural area stuff, anything you need.
It's like a one-stop shop. Like like a
it's like Walmart for farms. It's fucking sweet. Dude.
You got like food and shit in there too.
They got everything. They got animals. That's where the ducks came from.
No shit. Yeah, I want to go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'd just want to go to just look.
Yeah, it smells good too. It smells like a farm, like hay.
I don't feel like farms smell good.
Pig farms don't smell good, but the rest of the farms smell good.
What do they smell like?
Like hay.
Oh.
And like horses and stuff.
Hey. All right. That's enough of that. Let's make some people better today.
Yeah,
Andy.
let's do that. Let's stick to what we're good at here.
Yeah. Not pools.
Yeah.
Guys, Andy, question number 1. Let's get it. Andy, what's your take on the saying that A students are led by B students, managed by C students, hired by D students? I feel like there's a big common denominator among business owners being these D students that they talk about. So what's your thought process on that? Have you ever heard that saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Is there any validity to it?
I don't know. Like, if there is, this is what it is. Okay. I know guys who are very successful in school and they're very successful business guys. Okay. And we have to be careful, just like we talk about generalizing people, we have to talk about generalizing types of people when it comes to business. So I know people who are very successful that did very well in school. I know people who are very successful. I'm one of them who was terrible in school. Here's where I think the validity is in that statement, is that typically people who are C students or D students, it's not that they're not intelligent. It's that they pave their own way in life. They make their own rules. They're not good at following directions. And because they're not good at following directions, they often find other pathways that people don't see that are so used to just going down the line, 1, 2, 3, following the framework, right? Mm. And if we examine what the education system really is and we take a step back, it is not education, it is indoctrination, okay? It doesn't make you intelligent to have a degree from any school. It does not, education does not equal intelligence,
right?
Okay, so, I mean, educated people will tell you that it equals intelligence, but it clearly doesn't. It just doesn't. And they like to say that because they invested all this money, all this time, and they like to have a moral superiority over everybody else. But it's just not true. I know people that have PhDs that are fucking idiots, okay? Here's the thing. When you go out into entrepreneurship and you go out into business, there is going to be a way to do things that is usually outside the norm if you want to be successful. It's how you innovate processes, how you, not just products, but how you innovate processes and how you innovate the delivery of a product and how you innovate the marketing of a product. And that requires you to see outside the framework of what everybody else is doing. And that's where I think the advantage is for those kind of students, because a lot of D and C students are dumb fucks, okay? But there's a lot of very intelligent D and C students, like I was, who test very high on tests, but I can't stand to sit here and learn from some dumbass who's driving away in a beater.
Right.
Like, to me, when I was 14 years old, I recognized that, right? So I never did good in school because I'm like, bro, why am I listening to this guy when he hasn't really done anything but talk about the thing, right? And when we look at the education process, it's really a test and an indoctrination into following directions so that you understand how to operate in the real world. And most people need that. Most people have to be told 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you think like that, I think it does put you at a disadvantage to be able to innovate processes, innovate products, innovate marketing, innovate the competitive advantage that you're going to need to create. So that's my take on it. I don't think one way is better than the other, but if maybe there is a little bit of truth to it. There's definitely some truth to it for me. Okay, so go out and build something real. Go out and build something equitable. Go out and build a real company. Go out and fucking use the tools that you can learn from some of these coaches that are just part of the puzzle, right? Like, you can learn how to get fit. You can learn how to create a funnel. You can learn how to run ads. You can learn how to do these things and then use those things to create an equitable business so that later on in life you have a, nest egg that you can, borrow against or liquidate or exit and have something for your retirement, dude.
Yeah.
So, vet your people, vet your teachers. If you're in college and you're listening to some guy who's never done shit, bro, be very careful what you take to heart and what you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to be living what it is they're trying to teach you how to do if you really want to use their advice to go be successful. So to answer the question, dude, there might be some truth to it, but I know people who are successful across all ranges. There's just some people that are just good and super intelligent, and they're able to pass the test, but they're also able to see outside the box.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're a C or D student out here, that's not something to celebrate and say, fuck yeah, I'm going to
start a business.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is like, you got to be careful what you say, because a lot of these college kids and high school kids that listen to this shit, they will hear that and then they will just quit trying. Like, dude, even if you think that it's pointless to do what it is that you do in a standardized school environment, it is very important that you try hard, because that trying hard and that practice and that discipline will translate over into something else. So don't just say, hey, fuck it, this is pointless. Say, hey, I'm here. I've got to complete this. This is what I have to do. I'm going to do my best, because that will condition you to having the habits that you need outside of that environment, even though that environment is not producing the result that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. So let me follow up with this. So because I mean, obviously with the school system, it is more of a what to think, not how to think, right? Which is what's really necessary in the real world.
Yeah.
Now, this thinking outside the box, you talk about the innovation side of things. What would you say are some other common denominators amongst entrepreneurs? Like things that you've met a shit ton of them, right? Like, I mean, what are some things that, all of you guys, you would say you had in common outside of the thinking outside of the box?
Well,
aspect?
I think first off and foremost, all successful entrepreneurs are unwilling, 100% unwilling to accept the status quo for their life. All right. They are not going to be like everybody else, no matter what it takes. No matter what it takes. Doesn't matter. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they all have big dreams. They don't just think small. They don't think realistic. Like when your teachers and your friends say, oh, have realistic thoughts, have realistic goals. Yeah, if you want to be a small little peasant, that's a good thing. But all the people that you look up to that you want to embody and you want to fucking be like, those people are dreaming so big that most people can't comprehend it. And because they dream big, the actions they take are naturally bigger, which even if they don't reach the actual dream that they have, they will be so much further along than everybody else that it's a success anyway. So those are two things. I think relentless grit and fortitude and endurance, mental toughness is 100% a requirement to get past the level of quote unquote mediocre and average. So most of the people that you are successful dedicate an extreme amount of time to intentionally putting themselves in uncomfortable positions like the 75 Hard and the Live Hard program, so that they can build that resilience, that grit, that fortitude, that mental toughness to get through the path. Because the path only gets harder. It never gets easier. And that's a myth that people have. People think, oh, once I get here, it'll be easier. No, the higher you go, you're competing against better competitors, and it gets much fucking harder. Is it harder for Michael Jordan to play high school basketball or fucking pro basketball?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It gets harder. So you have to build the skill set, and you have to build that mental toughness to go down the path effectively. I think they have that in common. I think most of these people are highly dedicated to self-education, meaning they're reading books, they're listening to podcasts, they're taking notes. But then what makes them different from everybody else that does those things is that they actually take those lessons and apply them in real life. So the application of the lessons that all of you guys consume, but most of you don't apply, they do apply religiously. So I think those are some common things. Most of those guys are fit. Most people who are successful are somewhat fit, but they're also so far past the point of like that initial grind phase that it's not really that important anymore to them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think they're the anomaly. Most entrepreneurs that are successful in this day and age are taking very good care of their bodies and their minds on a consistent basis.
Why is that?
Yeah, because it's your tool. This is the fucking tool, bro. Your tool is you. So if you're going to battle with this being your tool, don't you want this tool to be the best possible thing? Your mind, your body, your spirit, these are tools, bro. Yeah. So they sharpen that. I think another thing that a lot of these guys have in common is that they don't keep losers around them for any amount of time, bro. They don't allow drama in their life. They don't allow gossip in their life. They don't allow people who drama and gossip in their life. They don't allow distractions. Their circle is small. They associate with other people who think like them, who have goals like them, who want to win like them, and they cut everybody else out. They're very hard to get to. So those are some things that I would say are in common. There's a lot more too, but those are off the top of my head.
Yeah, for sure, man. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, Andy, question number 2. Andy, I'm 16 years old, and my question is about motivation and success. What have you found to be the best form of motivation for achieving success. I see other people winning, but I sometimes look at my environment and I can't connect the dots on how to make that a reality in my life.
How the fuck can you look at your situation that you're currently living and not be fucking motivated? If you can't look around at your current life and say, fuck, this sucks, and be motivated for more, bro, you can't do it. You should just quit. Go do something else, because your existing situation in life should be enough motivation to get you started. Now, motivation when you start is cool, right? It feels good. But the reality is motivation is not the key to the castle, bro. Discipline is the key to the castle, because there's going to be lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of times. In fact, the majority of the time that you are not going to wake up in the morning and say, fuck, dude, I really feel like going out and get my balls kicked in all day. That's not going to happen. So you have to say, hey, I'm going to do this regardless of how I feel. I'm going to execute, even if I'm having a bad day, even if my dog died, even if I had to do this, even if this shit's going wrong. My shit is getting done day in and day out. And that is the fucking secret sauce about winning. It's not motivation, but motivation feels good, and motivation is valuable, especially when you're in the beginning. So if you can't look around and say, dude, my life is fucked up, I want way more than this, I want better than this, and be motivated to go down the path, bro, you don't have it. You don't have it. That's it. You do not fucking have it. You should just accept your reality like all your friends, all your family. Go sit on the fucking bench and watch the game where everybody else is going to go out and kick ass, because you don't have it if your current situation doesn't motivate you. That's the fucking facts of the matter.
Why do so many people look for external motivation? Like, what do you think the disconnect is there?
Well, there's a fucking, in society, bro, there is a disproportionate amount of value placed on motivation compared to discipline. People think that it's motivation. They think, oh, dude, let's go do this, right? And they don't understand that it doesn't matter if you feel like doing it. What matters is that you do it. And that's the biggest key that most people can't connect, because, dude, we hear this term, motivational speaker. Okay, so this is why I don't like speaking really, dude, even though I'm great at it. You go to this event, you pay $500, the motherfucker tells you some shit, you walk out of there, you're hyped, and you go home and you don't do anything. Okay, so events are great, but you should go to events where they're going to teach you 1, 2s, 3s, 4s. These are the steps to do it. Because if you don't have that intrinsic motivation to do it, to at least get started, you can't start. So that's assumed that you have that, right? And then you have to work on your discipline. You have to work on your ability to execute when you don't feel like doing it. And that's why the Live Hard program is so important. I don't know a single person who wakes up every single day and says, fuck, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to go, get my ass kicked. Because that's the reality of entrepreneurship. It sounds absurd, right? Yeah. I can't wait to go.
It's just life.
Dude, it's life, bro.
Yeah.
It's life. It's hard. It's fucking grind. It's grueling. And because we have all these entrepreneur bozos on the fucking internet who've never built a goddamn thing talking about, how easy it is and how cool it is and how it's awesome, you're getting all these kids sucked into this game of entrepreneurship, when in reality, only 8% of people are entrepreneurs, and only 1% of that 8% is actually successful at it. It is a very hard career. It is the hardest career you could ever choose in your fucking life. So if you think it's going to be easy, fun, and you're going to have freedom and all this shit, you're drinking the Kool-Aid that ain't true. You're in for a rude awakening. The shit I tell you, and the shit anybody else who's built something real will tell you, is that you have to fucking go hard every single day, no matter what you feel like, no matter what's going wrong, and your shit has to get done. And that's it. That's how you get there. So I don't really, motivation for me, dude, is not a thing anymore. I don't even think about it. I don't wake up and think, man, I don't feel like doing that or whatever, because it's irrelevant. And once you lived a disciplined lifestyle for long enough, motivation does become irrelevant. And it's almost comical when people bring it up. Like, bro, that's a very amateur way of thinking. And I don't fault you for thinking that way, because that's how everybody thinks. But what we have to do is we have to shift your mindset from I got to feel like doing it to it doesn't matter if I feel like doing it. I'm going to get it done anyway. And that's what winners do. That's how people build amazing shit. That's how they become great. And that's how it's going to be no different for you.
Yeah. So you're saying it's so using motivation or feeling the need to need motivation, that'll get you going a decent amount. But at some point, you gotta cross that line over to this other animal mindset of it doesn't matter how I feel.
What's your life going to look like if you don't do it?
Hmm.
What's your life going to look like if you don't fucking go out and build what the fuck you want to build? That you have this little vision in your heart and in your mind of what your life should be like. And what are you going to feel like if you don't go do that? What are you going to feel like in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? When you die, what are you going to be saying? Because I can promise you, bro, that dream ain't going away. That dream was placed in your heart and in your mind by God. It is your purpose, and you are obligated to go build it. And for you to go build that, it's going to require executing when you don't fucking feel like it. So you better just go out and figure this out right now. It's discipline. It's not motivation. Look around at your life. If you can't go from looking around at your life, then just expect your life to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And in 20 years, you're going to be saying, fuck, I should have fucking went. I should have went and did that. And 20 more years past that, if you don't do it then, you're going to be saying, I wasted 40 years. I wasted my life. That's going to happen to you. Go ask someone who's 60 years old if they regret not following their dreams. And I promise you, if you get them to be honest, they're going to say, yeah.
Yeah, man. That's real shit, man.
I know it's real shit, bro. Real. That's where most of these people fuck their lives up.
Yeah.
They think like you got to feel like, bro, I walk in here every fucking day. Probably out of the 7 days a week that I come in here, there's probably 2 of the days that I feel like it. And I have the greatest company in the world, bro. I work with the baddest ass people. I don't work with a bunch of Karen corporate. I work with badass motherfuckers that give a shit.
Yeah.
And it's still hard because our goals are so big. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I'm tired or if I don't feel like it, bro. I have to do it. And so, like, dude, you guys have to quit valuing this thing that all these nerds on the internet call motivation and start realizing what actually matters. And what matters is do you have the capacity to execute at a high standard when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it? Because when you don't feel like it is when everybody else quits. And that's when you widen the gap between yourself and everybody else. So let's say those 4 days where I don't feel like it, I'm competing against Joe down the street. And when he comes in on his 4 days that he doesn't feel like it, he does half-ass shit. But on my 4 days, I'm executing at the highest level because I've developed that skill set of discipline to do so. Over time, I'm going to widen that gap further and further and further and further and further and further and further away from that dude. And this is how the game works. It is legitimately a mathematical equation. How many days did you win? How many days did they win? That's it. It's math, bro. It's not magic. It's not mystical. It's not success fairy nonsense. It's not luck. It is math. How many motherfucking days can you win at a high standard, especially when you don't feel like it? Because that's when everybody else quits.
No, I fucking love it, man. I love it. Guys, Andy, our third and final question. Question number 3. Andy, I have been grinding for the last 5 years, and I'm about to purchase my first really nice car. I've been working my ass off. My family's good, kicking ass at work. My question is, how do I know if it's the right thing? Is it just an emotional purchase? I've been putting off going to the dealer for 3 days now. I can't really pinpoint why. Did you deal with this when you bought your first nice car? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Well, first of all, I didn't buy my nice car until I was 11 years in business, not 5. All right. I don't know where the fuck you are, but I was doing very well. I was making 7 figures when I bought my first nice car. Okay. So there's that.
Okay.
So let's reevaluate where you're actually at. Are you making over $1 million a year in income? Because if not, I wouldn't buy shit. And I would take all that money and I would dedicate it to building your cash flow, building your company, building your career. Because every single fucking dollar that you don't do that with is more time that it's going to take for you to get there. Okay. So where are you really at? Do you want to buy this car because you think it's going to make you look successful? Or do you want to buy this car because you're a car aficionado and you're passionate and it's something that you love? That's what I am. Okay. I don't even show you guys my fucking shit. Okay. I love cars. I love driving. It is an important hobby to me. It just so happens to be expensive. So, but the truth of the matter is when I bought my first car, I was making over $1 million a year. I was 11 years in business. And you guys see all this bullshit on the internet and you think you need to have this shit. And I know this is the answer that you probably don't want to hear, but this is definitely one perspective. Now, another perspective, which is also true, is that you need to touch and feel and experience success along the way to keep you going, to keep you understanding that this is how my life is going to turn out. And you need to touch it. You need to experience it. Now, you don't necessarily have to buy a car for that. You can rent a car. You could go on a trip. You can go see the houses, whatever you want to do. But there is truth to experiencing that. But this fake it till you make it mentality that the internet creates is completely false. These kids that go out there and buy these cars and they're fronting this shit, it's only a matter of time before they don't have them anymore. I mean, dude, I've been doing the internet game since 2012. You know how many people I've seen come and go with a fucking, a couple cars, and then they're bragging and they're talking all this shit, and the next year they don't have shit. Mm-hmm. They're talking about, you know what they're doing? You know what they say? You know what? I decided that, these cars are just too materialistic for me, and I'm kind of over it. I just want to be a little more humble, and other things are more important to me. Just like I talked about on last Q&AF, where I talk about people who take their dreams and they take what they have currently, and then they try to say, oh, this is what I actually wanted, right? So usually what these guys do is they go out, they buy these cars, they front on the internet, they stop making money, they lose their cars, and then they come up with a fucking story about how they never wanted them in the first place, which is completely fucking bullshit.
Much happier now.
You don't want to be the motherfucker that gets the cars and then has them disappear. You don't want to be that guy, bro. So I would evaluate what's more important to you. Is it more important to feel cool and look cool, or is it more important to build an actual business? I would argue that it's way more important to build an actual business. Now, you might be making $10 million a year, and I don't know that. Yeah. And if you are, you got a little more freedom to indulge in things like that. No. There are guys out here who will say, you should never buy a car that's worth more than fucking 20 grand or whatever, right? Well, I disagree with that. That's what it is. Like, why the fuck do we do all this shit, right? Why the fuck have I worked 25 years? Oh, it's so I can fucking roll around in badass shit that I enjoy. But have you paid your dues yet? That's only question. That's a question that only you can answer. Yeah. So I would evaluate where you are, be honest with yourself about where you are. Be honest with yourself about your income. And if you've got to stretch and finance that shit out just to dude, don't do that. Don't put yourself in a vulnerable position, especially in the early days. And I know you're 5 years in, you think you're not in the early days, you're still in the fucking early days, bro. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah, let's just talk about rewarding yourself in general, right? Like what have you found to be the best way? Like, how do you reward yourself for the hard work you put in? When you've been planting for so long and you start seeing those sprouts come up a little bit, right?
That's the reward. The reward is seeing the progress. The reward is looking at your business and saying, oh man, I did $14,000 today. Oh man, I did $32,000 today. Oh man, we did 80,000. Oh, we did 200,000. Oh, we did 5 million today. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the fucking reward, bro, because that business is equitable, meaning you can borrow against it, you could sell it, you could exit it, and it's worth exponentially more than what you're going to take home in payroll. So that is the winning for the actual winners, the actual operators who love business. The reward is the winning. All the other shit doesn't mean anything, bro. I could really, as much as I love cars, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? As much as I love my house and my properties, I don't give a fuck. I like winning. Winning is fun. I like seeing things go from my ideas to paper to in person, in life, and sprout and create and win that battle. That's the reward, bro. And you guys get caught up in this. And by the way, I like material shit, but you guys do get too caught up in this materialistic shit. And you don't understand that the game is not about how much material shit you can acquire. It's about how much progress you can make. So instead of building your value in what you can acquire or what you can buy or what your perceived lifestyle is, you should build your value on what your real success is and what your real progress is. Otherwise, you're going to end up like one of these fucking clowns who has this shit for a minute and then doesn't have it. And then what you're all afraid of is getting laughed at. Then everybody laughs at you.
Everybody likes it.
Yeah. So don't be that guy.
All right. Well, some extra sauce for this.
We'll give him some extra
sauce for Monday morning.
Some juicy juice.
Yeah, let's do it. Guys, Andy, question number 4. What's up, Andy and DJ? I got a question for you all that I've been noticing in my work environment. I'm 24 years old, not a hoe. I work as a junior, senior high school math teacher, and I'm also the dean of students of the junior, senior high school.
Damn.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
That's a young man.
That's super young.
You know, one of my best teachers I had was young when I had him.
Was super young?
Yeah, his name was, I talked about him on the show before, Kevin Walsh.
All my teachers were old.
Yeah, he's Luke Walsh's dad, you know, the basketball player.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So Kevin taught us, he had this class called Current Issues, which is the inspiration for what we do now, right? And bro, we man, I'm sorry, Kevin. I love that dude. He's such a good dude, but we were such little fucks. Like, I'm surprised he didn't beat our asses. But dude, hey, I took what you taught. We're doing something with it, bro. #1 show right now.
Hey, there we go.
Appreciate it, brother.
There we go.
But yeah, dude, that's a young man.
That's young, man. Now, since I'm on the administrative team at the school culture is super important to me. One of the things that I've started to notice with my boss, the school principal, and the veteran teachers, is that most of them will take the initiative to get something done, which is great. However, 90% of the time, they will not relay or communicate that information with the parties involved, causing mass confusion between staff members and even myself. My question is, when you take the initiative on something that will involve multiple people or multiple parties, what is the most effective way you have found to communicate that with them? I'm all about taking the initiative on things that I know, and I know that's one of your core values and beliefs within your own businesses. But from what I am seeing is that pieces on the chessboard are moving without any explanation as to why they are moving. I understand I'm very young to be in the leadership position like this. I have a lot to learn, but am I looking at this from the wrong perspective, or is there a true issue here? Interested to hear your thoughts.
Well, first of all, man, you know, let me say this. Leadership is a lifelong learning process. So you're going to be getting better even when you're 44, okay? I feel like I learn new things every single day, and I've been leading big teams for a long time. And this is probably the first time that you've led a big team. And so communication is a huge deal, huge deal. To set the standard for communication, at least in the beginning, you almost have to have a micromanagement role. You have to basically say, hey, this is what I need. This is what I want you to do. And back in the early days when I was setting this up, I'd actually write this shit out on a piece of paper and make them sign it. So
no shit.
Yeah. So like I would say, okay, here's what you want. Here's the process. All right. So I used to do this thing. I don't do it anymore, where if I sent out a group text to everybody, they had to reply back that they confirmed it, they received it, and they understood it. And that was so that later on, if they didn't do it, I could say, well, hey, you replied back to this, you said this, right? So like that would be the process that was in the paper. I would say, all right, here's how we're going to dictate directions. Here's how we're going to do things. Here's the process for this. If I text you, this is what the response should be if you understand it. If you don't understand it, text me on the side, ask me the question, we'll figure it out. So really, dude, in my opinion, I think this is a matter of getting, you know, all the gray beards and the old dogs to really understand how you're going to run things, which is just going to require some clear communication and some assertiveness on your point, which can be intimidating when everybody else is much older than you. You know, when I was in my 30s or I'm in my 20s, I had a lot of people that worked that were older than me. And, that was a unique situation because for some reason, people think that if they're older than you, they're automatically more skilled or talented than you. And that's just not the case. So that's what I would do. I would take a piece of paper. I would say, this is how I want it to flow. And I would sit down with all of your people and I would say, okay, I'm trying, like, you know, you're let's say the lady who's 60 years old, who's been there for 30 years, right? Sit down with her and say, hey, Mary, look, I'm trying to get everybody coordinated so that we aren't just moving chess pieces all over the board, and we've got a cohesive movement that we're trying to create for these kids so that everybody can get what we need them to get. And right now, here's what's happening. Certain people are doing it this way, certain people are doing it this way, and it makes everything not work. Your job's not working, my job's not working. So I've come up with this little solution on how to get everybody on the same page. And this is what it's going to look like. And you line it out on the piece of paper, and you're going to say, then you're going to show it to her, and you're going to say, now, do you have any feedback for that or anything you think? And this is in a private setting, right? Not because if you start this in a public setting, it'll start all the chirping. It'll be like, I think this, I think that. Can't run shit by committee, okay? It's if you run a team and you're fucking running it by committee, you're gonna fucking lose. You will end up with such vanilla bullshit. This is why most companies end up getting bad. In the beginning, they're run by a founder. They're run by a close-knit group of team. Then they get bigger and they get all these corporate fucks involved in their company, and then they sit around a table and they eliminate everything cool to be safe. And it ends up with a vanilla product, vanilla marketing, vanilla fucking processes, and then you end up losing. So sit down with Mary, go through the list, ask her for her feedback, say, hey, this is, what do you think? Where can we improve? And I would go to the people that you trust the most first. All right, go to the people who you know are going to have good ideas and tell you the truth first, because they're likely going to point out the holes in your processes quick. That way, when you go to the lesser trusted employees or the lesser bought in employees, the teachers, those holes will be covered. So there'll be less static there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you sit down with her and you say, okay, so this is what I expect. I'm going to have you sign this, and I'm going to have everybody sign it. That way we're all on the same page. And your great teachers, your great employees are going to say, fuck, thank God. I'm so tired of this shit being all over the place. Most employees, or in this case teachers, they love clear-cut communication. There is nothing worse than wondering what the fuck is going on, okay? Everybody here has been an employee at some time. Do you guys not hate that? Because I fucking hated it. I want to know what the fuck is going on, and I want to know exactly what to do. And not only do I want to know exactly what to do, I want to know exactly what to do so that I'm valued, so that I can move up in my career, all right? So you as a young man, you need to realize that most people crave clear, concise leadership. And by you sitting down and doing this, you're going to build that framework for your team. And yeah, you're going to have some kickback, and yeah, you're going to have some mistakes, but you address those individually as they happen, okay? So like, let's say you sign these contracts and everybody fucking goes out and starts to do it, and then you got one guy who's a problem. You don't take the whole team and be like, you guys aren't fucking doing this. I used to do that when I was younger, and it was the wrong move. Because then it makes an issue for everybody. So you go over to Steve over here, who's stuck in the old ways, and you say, hey, Steve, you signed this contract, bro. This is what I expect. This is what we're going to do. And if you can't do that, I'm going to have to let you go, or you're going to have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And, he'll either get in line or he won't. And if he doesn't, that's okay. Just find somebody that will. And by the way, when you bring new people into a culture that already exists and a system that already exists, there's no pushback, because that's just the way that it always was. So after a while, this just becomes the way, and you don't have to do this formality of actually setting the framework. Does that make sense?
Fuck yeah. I love it. Well, guys, Andy, that was 4.
Don't be a whore.